Wara Bright, I don't know if you are still here. You are the first to make comment here. I can see your comment. Anyway, once you join us, make sure you like the video. Click on the like button. You are welcome. Welcome back to my channel. And please make sure you like the video once you join us. Hit the like button. But let me actually say this in now. God bless you, Mazekai. That's from Mike. Mike, I greet you. I used to excuse me. I used to be staying with our brother, with the fallback. I remember I used to be taking within the fallback. Okay. Okay, so we have people on the comment as we speak. Excellence Wachuku. I see you. My dear brother Kai, good evening. Good evening to you. And we have Paddy Padden. I greet you. Paddy Padden. Good evening, Mazikai. Paddy Padden. I greet you. And we have Namde Tube. Namde Tube. My brother, is that your name? You're welcome. Say good evening, bros. Good evening to you. Nice to have you. Nice to hear from you. So we are going to start the program because today is fundraising. As you know, we have a limited time, a very, very short one for that matter. And anyway, for that is in next maybe two to 3 hours. I don't know when because sometimes they schedule their program and they will give more extra time. But you have to utilize this time very, very well. You have to. We have Mazekai. Once again, good evening. Good evening to you. I greet you, one another. Another person here, Blessing. Where's Blessing? Oh, he said, go. What may go? Good evening, everyone. Happy weekend to you all. Good evening, Kai Report. Good evening to you. I greet you, Patrick. You're welcome. I think we have to start the program. We have to start the program without wasting much time. And yesterday I did not play this video because I will be playing it oftentimes. So I'm gonna play it again before now we start properly. God bless you, Mazekai. God bless you too. God bless you too. That is a blessing.
I want to correct a falsehood that has been going on for decades about General in 1966 coup. The so-called Igbo coup. The maliciously called Igbo coup. The British people don't trust Igbos to defend their interests. They know very well that Igbos are uncontrollable. Igbos can be tamed. Igbos will kick them out of Nigeria in few years. So they don't trust Igbos. They signed an agreement with the Fulani to defend their interests and empower them. They created all the necessary structures to make sure that Fulani remains in power. That's what the British did. It was Britain that clearly told Zeke, you are not going to be the first leader of Nigeria. They threatened him for prosecution. They said they will jail him if he attempts to take over Nigeria, its first president. Zik was the one who fought Nigerian independence. It was Zik. But what the British people didn't do was not to recruit people in the military and public service without merit. The British didn't do that. In as much that the British people planned to have Fulani rule and control Nigeria for their own interests, they never ever did non-meritorious recruitment. It was because of meritorious recruitment, which requires you, before you enter the military, you must have school cert, Cambridge school cert, Cambridge GCE. You must have it, or higher school cert, for you to go through a commission process into the military, or to senior cadre in police and other law enforcement. And Igbos were dominant. If you make it on merit, you know the Igbos will take 90%. Anytime you introduce merit in anything, Igbos will dominate it. Because they are excellent people. Give it to them. That's the truth. So Igbos were over 60% of senior officers in military, over 60% in police, in public service over 60%. And that was the status, how it was. Because recruitment were based on merit. Now, they forced Zik. First of all, the two conditions they gave Zik for independence are: number one, the three regions might agree for independence. They not say they don't want independence. That was why we didn't have independence in 1957. It was Saduana that told the British people, we don't want to be independent. Three, that Zik will never be the president of the new nation. And that Zik must not accept anything called secession inside the Constitution, 1958 Constitution. Some of you will keep on saying Zik was the one Nigerian man. Zik was the person who did not want to execute. It's a lie. In 1946 Constitution, Zik advocated for Igbo to be separated from Nigeria. Zik supported Biafra. It was because of Zik that 4 African nations, 4 recognized Biafra. He called them and told them to recognize Biafra. Anybody telling you that Zik does not want Nigeria to be divided is a liar. For that Zik in 1958 Constitutional Conference said they should not put secession in Nigerian Constitution. Well, because the British mandated him to do that. It was the British that mandated him as a condition for independence. They told him, number one, you're not going to be the leader of the new nation. 2, you're not going to allow secession. If we must give you independence. That was why Zik did that. It was not because Zik wanted Nigeria to be one. It's not true. He has earlier asked for separation in 1946 Constitution. And he supported Biafra. You know that it was Zik that made African nations to recognize Biafra. If he didn't want separation, why did he do that? Now, Zik accepted. That was why he made it say, so long that Nigeria is independent, it doesn't care whether he's the first leader or not. Julius Nyerere, Kwame Nkrumah, Kenyatta, all these people are Zik boys. They helped all these nations to become independent. They were looking up to him to also be the first leader of Nigeria. They were disappointed that Zik was not the first leader. They were very disappointed. It was what Britain want. Britain does not want Igbo control. Do you know that in 1959 elections, Zik NCNC scored 2.4 million votes. 2.4 million votes. That was Zik NCNC. Naturally, Zik is supposed to be the head of state. He's supposed to be the prime minister of Nigeria. Ahmadu Bello MPC scored 1.9 million.
Yes,
whereas Awolowo AG scored 1.4 million. But it was Tafawa Balewa that became prime minister because Britain wanted it like that. Britain said that the Igbos are uncontrollable. The Igbos cannot, because they don't believe, they don't trust them to serve their interests. They know that the Igbo will kick them out, kick their ass out of Nigeria once they are allowed to control Nigeria. Now, let me tell you something that happened immediately after independence. Some of you don't know where. They don't tell these stories. They don't give this story background. They created a narrative that will put Igbos in danger and put them in quandary. And everybody were running with their narrative. That's why they don't study history in Nigeria. They don't in history, because they know why. You know why they don't put history? They don't study history in school. You know why they don't study history in school? The reason why they don't study history in school is because they prefer the public opinion media propaganda to run Nigerian history, where all.
All right, I'm sorry to cut it off there because of time. All right, because the video is quite long. I want to welcome all of you in this live broadcast. You're welcome, you're highly welcome. If I have not called your name, don't feel bad. It's because of time, because we are coming back to hook on fundraising. I want to use this opportunity to say a few things. This is a live broadcast. If you're watching us, you are watching a live program. We are streaming this live and direct, and today's date is 7th of February 2026. So make sure you like the video in case if you have joined us or you're going to watch it later. This video, we are not here to promote violence. We don't support any crime, any criminality, whatsoever at all. So what we do here is to bring out truth and see our mind on that. We are not controlling of anything. We are not mandating you to do anything, and we are not preaching any violence for you to carry out a crime. So what this platform represents is truth and nothing but the truth. To set the record straight, so that you cannot make you, after listening to us, you can also share your own opinion, and then that will help you to come up with your final decision. You have to make a decision for yourself. I can't make it for you. Now, we all know the security and what is going on in Nigeria. Many of us believe that America is going to be the only way to navigate out from this, the only way to be free from what is going on. Many of us believe that. Every hope, every eye is on what America intends to do. Yesterday, Mamel said something that American president daughter, I think his daughter, yes, his daughter married to a Muslim. I think his daughter or his son married to a Muslim. You understand? From Turkey descent. Now, that despite that, Trump is still trying to do something, but we cannot just pretend that he's gonna do something that we want, like exactly what we want, which is total separation and division of Nigeria. So, and I said to her yesterday that the idea or the issue of Renamo presenting the agreement from Britain that Nigeria is going to expire in Nigeria will be expired in 100 years after the amalgamation. That date has come and gone. So the time frame they map out there has already elapsed. That is no longer in existence. That the U.S. Congressman Raymond presented it, and they were sharing a picture of him holding a kind of A4 paper and all that appeared to be. They said that is the agreement paper from Britain. People were sharing that, and the speculation was that he's now calling for Nigeria to be divided. Then again, I saw some posts debunking that. I said, no, there's nothing like that. Today, Daily Post, that is somehow affiliated to people who are not actually, it's not the best platform to pick news from. Daily Post, they can report anything, just pay them money for handback for grand journalism. So I don't rely on their source, but they made this publication saying that the U.S. lawmaker Raymond clears air on alleged move to divide Nigeria. This thing caught my attention. I was mandated to read it to see what he actually said. Like I told you, do not put high hope on them. Don't, because anything is possible. The moment we begin to do what we're supposed to do as a people, that is the time that all these things will fall into place. Like you have to see things move in the direction that you yourself want it. It is better for you to know how to drive your car so that you cannot carry yourself, you cannot take yourself to places anywhere you want to go. But when you have somebody to drive you, the person may sit down on the steering and begin to go in another place. Do you understand? May sit on this driving seat and start to take your car to a different location where you did not even plan to go. But if you are the one driving yourself, doing what you're supposed to do, and when you're supposed to do it, you will see your car heading to the direction that you actually want to go. Some of us today are still, sitting defense. You want to be defensive. You are still contemplating that things may not be this Biafra of a thing. How will it work when we don't love each other, like some people say? How will it work when we don't even agree with one voice? Look at what is going on now? Is this the way you want us to be as a people? Now we cannot even speak in one voice. People are talking from different places and making argument against our freedom. What is the assurance? These are something. This is the minds of some of our brothers, but they don't ask themselves this question. Don't you think that what you are doing today, those things you don't like now, could be influenced by the where you are, because of where you are and people that surround you? The chances of your character, your decision, and your mindset being twisted to different things is high. People cannot. You may not even realize this until you move away from this system. Those who understand what it means and who have the belief are the one pushing ahead. Now, coming together to focus on our issue requires you yourself reorganizing yourself and identify your problem and agree to work together with your own brother with love and understanding. But the moment you begin to play the card of of your haters, you are the one actually doing what they want you to do. You are helping them, thinking that you're actually smart. You will end up regretting it. Now, we saw what is going on in other places in Nigeria, in Kwara State, in Benue State, of course, Katsina, those far north. The level of killing by people there is shocking. And people who are supposed to talk are not even talking. They just kept mute because it's something that they don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about it. Now, if you believe that you can, I'm coming to that the issue of insecurity though. But if you believe that you have had enough, I don't want my village to become Kwara State 2.0. I don't want my state to become, like what is going on in Benue State. I don't want an Igbo on that level or those places now. What are you doing about it? Is he folding hand and expect miracle to fall from above? What as a grown-up man, as a grown-up woman, what is that going on your mind? You think things will start working the way you want it by keeping mute and hiding? You don't want to get involved, you don't want to talk, but your life is being dragged because everything today is happening in the Kwara State. Tomorrow is happening in Benue State. It's only God of the land is protecting our, God of creation is protecting lives from our region. You think that if they can carry out this kind of attack on people that is being perceived to be their people, imagine what they will do when they get to your own village. Last week was Ebonyi State, right? Ebonyi State, or early this week, though, Ebonyi State. They went there and bought them. Next day, every market is everywhere is open. People from Enugu State don't even notice that something happened in Ebonyi State. In Afiku, people from Igbo don't even bother. Enugu, Anambra don't bother about what took place in Ebonyi State. Abia the same, River State the same, Delta State the same. But that thing that happened in Ebonyi State, who told you that your town is not the next? And what are you doing about it? When the suggestion get to you that like, look, you have to do something. When people suggest to you to stand up or sit up and do what you're supposed to do to avoid it, the next thing that comes to your mind is that somebody wants to siphon you. They want your money. This your money. How many lives have you bought with that your money? Because it's about your life. Then you now see some of our brothers who used to talk about Biafra. They are not busy discouraging each other, discouraging other people. Oh, Ngozi is a criminal. Ngozi have his connection in Nigeria. Ngozi have his people mounted everywhere to eat people's money. Ngozi have not done anything. Ngozi have not done anything. Oh, come on. For you to say that she's not doing anything simply means that you yourself know it when somebody is doing something right, and you actually know what people are supposed to do. Why don't you stand up and start doing that? Other tribes are not behaving like Igbo people, not because we are bad, no. But the thing is that some of us are yet to understand the danger. Even though it's knocking at your neighbor's door, they are not. You have seen your neighbors, how they are carrying dead bodies out from your neighbor's room, your neighbor's house. You are married. You keep on playing party songs and dancing and merry around in your own compound, thinking that that thing that happened to your neighbor is not capable of happening in your land. You are a dreamer. You are a joker. You see all this division, all this misunderstanding, all these things. Some people say that it seems like our people are being cursed. It's not that I don't believe that. I think it's just the gullibility of our people is second to none. That one is running at a high rate, and those of us that can see through it, it is our duty to talk them in, to understand the danger we are waiting for them. If you are the type that think that you have to fold your hand, you don't want to spend your money, you don't want to spend your time, you don't want to talk about it, you don't even want to share people talking about it, you don't even want to share ordinary tweet from people that are leading like DPM. You don't want even you don't want you are in a state of confusion because one Okoko have said something on a live broadcast, on a video recording, or maybe by write up, making a post. You refuse to use your God-given brain to analyze what they say, to figure out where truth lies. You just fold hand and sit down, they look. Matter. You just sit down and anything that have weight and occupy space. That's what you are representing. You have weight, you are occupying space. You are not producing anything. Even if you want to produce, all you can produce is negative. Nothing positive comes from you. Then you are still looking for the problem of your people. You are one of the problem. And that brings me to today's fundraising because some of us are yet to understand it. Anybody telling that, oh, they contribute thousand billion to so account that Ngozi is controlling and she's not making use of it, ask those people, how much is that? Because since they know, how much is that account? Nobody will give you the specific amount that is the account that she's not making use of. Those of them saying this thing, if you call them, okay, brother, my sister, okay, can you come out and leave? No, Mas, it seems like you are not understanding what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, that kind of thing. I find it difficult to understand these people. You cannot lead. Your own is to police those that are leading. Can you do it? They keep on splitting. Group of from left wing, the other group from right wing, the other one is lead from the behind, the other one is the official leaders. The question is, can you lead? Today I fall back. Oh, I fall left hand side. I fall sideways. I fall deep. I fall up. I jump up. All this petty group is to destabilize you and destabilize your fund. Attacking your fund, your resources is the key. And I have told you now, if you are one of those that puts all your love, all your hope on America, you are actually not doing yourself any favor. I'm not saying that America is not capable of helping you, but there are some things that you need to also put into consideration. They cannot do it, that thing that you want, exactly the way you want it, because they don't all issue maybe on a few. In America, they're actually agitating against Sharia. You may not understand it, but it's taking place. Most of the states in America are kicking against because those immigrants from other tribe, from other country, those Islamic country in America are somehow hoping and waiting for a time to control the government, because what these jihadists love to do is they will come to you, pretend that they are refugee. They will learn your language, learn how to live with you as a refugee. At the beginning, they will be so humble, very, very, very humble, down to earth. Then you think that you are helping, the less privileged. You are helping people. They keep on growing. If you give birth to one, they give birth to four. If you give birth to four, they give birth to seven. They keep on multiplying, dominating. A time will come when they will start telling you that you are not actually helping us, that this your law is against us. They have been living with this law, but they have to wait for the right time to question you. And the moment they start questioning you, they start talking about your governance, how to give them their own rights. Should you say you're democratic, you guys are civilized, give us our own rights. As you are giving your right, they are giving them dominance and power. They will still use it to challenge you. You start struggling for your life. That is they don't drag, they don't boast about how gigantic, their market, how they control market. No, what the target is power. Remember when PM taught us about Abuja Declaration? What did you learn from that? Abuja Declaration. Then you remember Berlin Conference. What do you learn from that? People will sit down and petition you without even knowing. They'll just bring you like a cake, use knife and share you the way they want it, and they will use that artist to control you for their own interests. Sometimes when they're doing that, you'll be clapping. You don't know that they have penetrated you and they have conquered you systematically, and you are just living. You are just like one of living things. And then you are just there breathing. Everything about your future, your destiny has already controlled. Like a video that I shared earlier today, you saw what someone said on the comment section, that even if you're a rising sun, even if you guys are rising sun, speaking of Igbo tribe, that you have this, that sun must move from west before shining in the east. What about if the west block it? Then that thing stands for anybody, means a lot. What if the western has decided that's to start with Yorubas, decided to shut the door so that the sun will not gonna shine? Do you know what that means? That's exactly what the Tinubu government is doing now. Almost every Southeast governors are under Tinubu. Do you know what it means? What it means to them, they are playing a very perfect politics. The same Tinubu and Yorubas who organize protests against Jonathan simply because he's from your tribe. Though they actually the one deceive Jonathan's people that they're not Igbo. Don't forget that. They deceive them, they're not Igbo. Those ones they put them. Do you know what? Do you know the when you damage somebody's way of reason, your psychology, like the way you think, when you pollute people's psyche, and they can't even think for themselves. Do you know how detrimental? Because that thing will go a long way to stop them from doing what they're supposed to have done. Jonathan people believe they're not Igbo. Most of them say, "No, I'm not Igbo. I'm Igbo." That identity crisis. They planted it on purpose, and they're living with it even today. Some of them, you see a professor still struggling to identify where he come from. That one is still from that day. But what I'm telling you is that they did not stop there. Politically, they have already dealing with you. Now, Tinubu, because before now, I was just a few minutes ago, I was searching for a video of Tinubu, a full speech of Tinubu, what he said in Enugu State when he was campaigning. In one of his outings there in Enugu State, because that's where they normally run their campaign, because that's the headquarters of an Igbo land and all that. They were, during the time of 2023 campaign, when he was campaigning about his election and all that, he said that if Igbo people did not vote for him, okay, if they did not support him, that they will soak bread with water. But he said it in Yoruba language. And the person that interpreted that part was, I think I picked this information from during that time. I'm searching for that video. You remember the video of Tinubu wearing the Isiago? Where that's funny part. Go and listen to that full speech of Tinubu in that particular video. I'm searching for it to remind you. Whatever you're seeing now is deliberate. You see the recruitment of Obi Kubana and the so-called young billionaires, which we don't even know how they become billionaires anyway, but that's a story for another day. Some people are now alleging that they are Tinubu boys. The fact they blew Tinubu Ayanto. Can you deny that? Can you defend them on that? I can't. I don't know because I don't live with them. You understand? So why is it so easy? They say that Igbo people don't know how to play politics. Not only politics, everything we are struggling to do it because we think that we know when we don't know. I said this yesterday. We think that we know when we actually don't know. Those of us that know are going through hell. Not in the hands of outsiders, in hands of our brother who don't even know. They are the one to face you squarely. They will speak all the manner of grammar. They will resist you. They can even cajole. They will use propaganda. Everything they will unleash it on you. Why you are trying to save them? Look at Mas Namonokan. Look at Samanaba. Now DPM. They keep on bringing these things to discourage you, to make you look like you can't think for yourself. Foolish people from our tribe. You can't think, you can't see the plan. Now, just compare how Yorubas manage, agitated about their political, interests during the time of Jonathan. Go and watch the video, the campaign, the way they protested, the way they still protest. Now watch Igbo people reaction for 50 years. That will tell you all you need to know. They keep on jumping from one table to another. They don't know how to set their own table. Jumping from one table to another table. This, I'm not saying this about only Nigerian politics, in almost everything. That's why when I talk about what the issue between Big Lord and Very Dark Man, some people still think that I'm saying it because I'm an Igbo person, and yes, I'm an Igbo person, official. Without any, I don't owe anybody apology about it. If you see that I'm tribalist, then no problem. But at the end of the day, ask me why. Well, I've seen this kind of handwriting severally, blackmailing one Igbo man of maybe of one of his wrongdoing, and you think that's going to end on him. No. They're going to use him as an example to everybody. They don't. Igbo people can pick one, like when we talk about Femi Fani-Kayode, for example, we hold him, we talk about him, right? We don't compare him to other. You understand? Have you seen anybody saying that because of what Femi Fani-Kayode said? Therefore, if you see a man around, people that say that can only tell you that Yorubas cannot be. You can't trust them; they can betray you. And when you check that is true. It is true. Now, when you see Hasatina, you are laughing. No, it's not only you. I know that you are not why. No. I'm not actually picking on you. I'm actually saying it because so many people have said. I've seen some comments, some videos. Igbo people should understand. There's one called that guy that always say, that he's OG in X. I don't know if you know him. I've forgotten his name. If you watch his video, he's an Igbo guy. He was actually lambasting Big Lord. It's good for you to be real, for you to focus and support somebody. But if you can support your tribe, to the extent of staging a protest against Jonathan, food protest, even though Jonathan people are also they are one of the confused people. Not only them, all these people that say, I'm not Igbo. Oh, I am Igbo. I'm not Igbo. I don't pay much attention to them because I know their problem. If they want to receive the difference, these Yorubas will send delegates and confuse them more. I'm talking about those people that think like that their job is to make sure the Igbos are down. Remember what I said in previous video, that comment that I share with you in my video earlier today. That guy is saying that yes, you are start rising sun, but what if they shut the door that the sun is not going to pass through west to get to you in the east? Shutting that door is laying a template that template will be like as if they're helping you, but they're going to use it against you, whether you like it or not. They're going to use it against you. Now, back to the base. Let's go back to the issue at hand, because I can tell you, the lawmaker, Relemont, says something. My own is let the ball breathe. Okay, no problem. Let the ball breathe. Not so bad. The ball will breathe. Man, sometimes I educate that poor people when they made you acquazzing Gakarongwa. Or you go poor people. Lawmaker read more clears air on alleged move to divide Nigeria. Let's go through it. All right, let's go through it. Now, this publication was made on February 7th, today, 2026. Okay, when you come here, this is the man who made the publication according to Daily Post. I've not seen this. I've not checked more Twitter handle to see what he said, but let's go through some first. United States Senator Red Moore has cleared the air on reports alleged that the U.S. is planning to divide Nigeria. In a statement on Saturday, the lawmaker said though he was in Nigeria and engaged in multiple high-level meetings with government officials, the discussion of dividing the country never came up. He stated that in all the discussions, the idea of dividing the country has not come up in any serious way. Okay, meaning that they have heard it, but it's not that serious. He not denied that this is first time this kind of situation is being made, but to him, it did not come up in a very serious way. So let's just look at it with one eye open, the other one closed. Moore noted that effort to embolden separatists hurt Christians in Nigeria, especially the North and the Middle Belt. So because this one, this one hit me somehow, bad. You know what this statement means? Let me read it again so you understand. Moore said that effort to embolden separatists equally support in the Nekoku Iwerowe hurt Christians in Nigeria, especially in the North and Middle Belt. So, okay, for now, the mentality of these people are actually focusing on how to, because of you, as a Christian in the East, the Christians in the North, you should remain in one country with them so that you be their protector. You be that they will have to use you to protect Christians in the Middle Belt, Christians in the North. But I see it as a tactic to, a kind of a way to lie. You are lying. This is just a way to giving you, a kind of cheap excuse, because there's no sense in that. I try to figure out the reason, any reason behind this statement. I don't see any reason attached to it at all. If truly you care about the Christians going, what happening, what is going on in the North, you need to divide the country. Dividing the country will actually help the Christians in the North, because then we now have a Christian country near to them. You don't have a Christian country monitoring what is going on. You don't have a Christian country that those ones in the North will be afraid of. But bringing everybody together is to enslave all of us together, which means you actually embolden the terrorists, because you are giving them more candidates to slaughter. You are giving them more number of people to conquer. You are giving them more access to the landmark and resources. So I don't see any sense in that. And those are people. Those are government. USB government of Kolokoso, his own is just a major hero in there. USB government need to understand, need to throw more light on this to Remo, whatever it will take for USB government to, even if you warrant to write him a letter or public letter, any means at all, or even send a delegate to meet him, educate him on this. This is a very wrong narrative, very, very wrong one for that matter. Because if you think that dividing the country is to embolden the separatists is going to hurt Christians in Nigeria, especially in the North and Middle Belt, you are not saying the truth. That is a lie from pit of hell. because you cannot trade everybody in favor of Islam because you don't want to, you are protecting Christians in the north. Let me ask you, are we not in one country when they started buying people that you guys are actually, deciding to talk about now? What is the need of bringing everybody together when you know that they're going to end up killing everybody though? What is need? Because when you have this division, it's gonna help in so many ways. You now have eyes, a nation that have been there and know what they can do, looking at them eye to eye to protect Christians in Nigeria, in the Middle Belt. Or if there's any way you can reshape the map, if that is what you want, I don't mind. Bring it. They will join. They will join. Different confederation states of Biafra. If that's any way to, yeah, I don't mind. But bringing everybody together in name of you don't want to embolden the separatists to hurt other people. And this is why I pause on this one. Why I decided to deliberate on this more is because I have seen someone from Plateau called the person called Master Kano. His own concern is this. Even Master Kano said even when he was DSS, one of DSS officer who from Plateau State, his own worries is that if I understand what you guys are talking about, but if you go, how about us? That is one of the most selfish statements ever. Because you cannot just because of you, they're buying you and they intend to buy us as well. You think that staying in one room so they can slaughter everybody together is the best thing? The best, like that's the best you think you can do. The answer is no. Every country have Muslim and Christian. Most countries do. Some have more Christians, some have lesser Muslim. Some have more Muslims, some have lesser Christian. So you cannot just because of that and said, oh, if a Christian in the north, in the plateau, there's no way you can carve them out, then you need to ask some questions. And this is not the only solution. You can also make middle belt to become a nation on their own. Carve them 3, maybe 4 different countries out of Nigeria. It is possible. The population of landmark is enough to do that. Then these far jihadists in North can now rule themselves and do whatever they want to do, and it will just be that thing. They just do that thing there. But if you don't want to do that, you are just enabling them there, because you are actually enabling them. You think that you don't want to embolden Christians, you don't want to embolden separatists, because you use the word separatists. I don't know who is separatists here. Are we actually joined? They forced us into this. So when you say separatist group, I feel like you can only say that if you have agreed and said not to agree anymore. Have we actually agreed to that? We have been forced to do that, and history cannot even just turn blind eyes on what our people have went through to keep Nigeria one. Now let's continue. A destabilized Nigeria would embolden terrorists and make Christians less safe in Nigeria and across the continent. That's not true. Divide the country, they will not know how to guide their border, share themselves. Do you know that if you allow Northerners to be, in their region to practice their Sharia law and everything, they'll be the one to realize what they have done to themselves. It's in a matter of time. And I don't know. I think Muslims actually they have more tactics than Christians. They have more. They are more strategic than Christians because they can plan. They know what to do than even Christians. How can you tell me, as the American senator? I believe this is your personal opinion anyway. How can you tell me that destabilizing Nigeria would embolden terrorists? What is the job of terrorists then? It's not to destabilize Nigeria. That's what they're doing. So what you are doing is to stop their destabilization. And to stop it is to divide. So that they will not have access to step in, to start camping in people's bush and kidnapping people, raping and grabbing natural resources, to even plan an attack against you as West. I don't understand. No Muslim country, no Islamic, what they call themselves a brotherhood or something like that. They don't think like this. They will tell you what to do. And if the position of America, Nigeria is divided. If Muslims know that, that they have what America have as a Christian nation, and they have access to, do better. You think a Muslim, if America is a Muslim country, and if America is a Muslim country, and Christians are doing what Muslims are doing in Nigeria today, you think America will come to Nigeria as a Muslim country to start clapping for you, Christian, killing their people? You think that's what they will do? They will start thinking on, oh, we don't want to stabilize the country. Muslim will not do that. If division will be the answer, they're not going to even send troops. They will divide it straight ahead. But Christians always keep on massaging words, keep on playing politics on everything. They will hold Bible and keep on playing politics. When are you going to drop this your hypocrisy? Because how can you tell me that you don't see? They know this truth too. That's annoying part. They know that the only way is to divide Nigeria. They understand it. Even I believe that the Muslim Brotherhood will be like in the inner meeting. They'll be like, wow, I thought these guys are stupid. I thought they should have done us this. They should have treated us this way, because this is what they would have done if they're in the position of, if they happen to be in your position. They would have done things better, something that is more decisive than what you guys are massaging with, and keep on reading from left and reading from left to right, and the left to right, right to left. You can't even inconsistent. You can't even stand on one thing. The excuse that these guys are giving us is shocking, because the primary purpose of their presence is their interest. And that's why Biafran government, Biafran USB government need to give them that they want. If they want to chop carrots, please give them carrots. Let us talk. Okay. I remain committed to work. I remain committed to working to save the lives of our brothers and sisters in Christ, and for that matter, all Nigerians suffering from the instability wrought by terrorists throughout Nigeria. The US and Nigeria have just entered into a security cooperation agreement, and that is an important step in tackling the violence in Nigeria and deepen and strengthen the bilateral relationship between our great nations. As a Christian, you have just lied. Remo, you just lied. You just lied. Great nation. Really? Really? Great nation. What is great? What is this great nations? When you say nations, you are referring to two separate nations. I don't know. Maybe my eye they pain me. Maybe you need to throw more light on that. Great nations, really. You of all people. This is typical Christians. And the more they are lying, they are making this kind of statement. People who have issue with them, with this kind of attitude of so-called Christian countries, they will be discouraged to remain as a Christian. Some of them will start embracing, Islam, because how can your job is to destabilize us, pretending that you're actually helping us. What's this? Tackling the violence in Nigeria and deepen and strengthen the bilateral relationship. What is this bilateral if not your interest? What is that in bilateral? You started by telling us you're actually protecting brothers and sisters in Christ here. And here you jump from there to bilateral. What is bilateral in protecting Christians and brothers and sisters in Christ? You just mentioned a few lines above here. And you are here talking about bilateral relationship. Just say that you are here for bilateral relationship then. Forget about protect, because if you actually want to protect your brothers and sisters in Christ, sending troop and sharing intelligence information is not the answer. Deep down your mind, you know this. You know. And the issue of Sharia, you know what it means. It's not hidden. But, they cannot hide away from the truth. They keep on, bringing this on and all that. And it's not ended. To tell you that they know what they're doing, to tell you that they're actually giving you what they cannot even eat from their own corner. They can't eat what they're giving to you. Here is another this post. Let me get it up. before. Just a moment. I have to, let me increase the size first. Let me increase the size. Just a moment. Please, if you are just joining us, make sure you like the video. We are headed to 1 hour in this program. I tell you what is great about it. But that is true, my sister. That's true. Please, if you are just joining us, I expect you to like the video. Okay, please like the video, so that others will know that we are here this hour. Okay. Now let me show this to you. Let me just say, is it this one or this one? This one, which of them is first? There are two things I want to share. Something from I think a Texas representative in Congress. Let me bring that in up. One, two, okay. All right. All right. Okay. So let me start with this one first. Then can I go? Now, they keep on, they will advise you on how to live together. Everything that he said there is not about you, it's about their interests. I know some people will be angry with me. Guy report, you are talking out of point. You do expect them to do. I know. It is my own opinion. You understand? I'm not actually commanding anything. This is my own opinion. So you have rights to your own opinion. This is my own. So you actually, if you want to, if you can actually even use my platform to say your own opinion, no problem. We the people did this. Texas Congressman Ketty Self launches the Sharia-free American courses and declare Texas Ground Zero. Texas, we made our leader hear us. Thank you. Congressman Self just went public with what millions of Texas alongside me and Ra Foundation USA have been fighting to expose and sound the alarm for years. Launching the Sharia-free American course and declaring what we already know. Texas is ground zero in this fight. Let's be crystal clear. This did not come from thinking tanks. It did not come from paid white paper writers. It did not come from people who get grant to discuss the threats theoretically. This comes from the people and from grassroots. Texas who refuse to be silenced. Texas who refuse to be silenced. And it comes from the investigative work that Ra Foundation US has been showing you every day, exposing the network, tactics, development, and institutional capture happening in real time. Self did not surrogate it. He called Sharia what it is: a culture of violence and domination, incompatible. I don't know this word. Incompatible, yeah, with the Constitution. Incompatible with the Constitution, American liberty, and our way of life. And he backed it up with what's unfolding right now. He backed it up with what is unfolding right now in Texas. All this is just a fight against Sharia. Against Sharia. But the same people, the same American government is telling you that they're not talking about division. Maybe it's a political statement. Don't get me wrong. Maybe he just doesn't want to talk about it publicly. But I want them to be bold enough, go straight to peace, because the only peace talk or peace day here is division. If you don't see it, you are talking about killing of people. They are just getting started, because you still have thousands and millions of people waiting to be slaughtered by the same thing that you are trying to massage. They have tried this in other countries, trying to work with the army of Afghanistan. Where did it end up? Where did it end up? What happened? Go and check. You cannot share intelligent information. That's just eye service. If you want to engage them with what they know, what they know how to do best, fully. And I said it earlier today that even their foot soldiers looks more innocent than, because the people actually pushing them to do what they're doing are those in the government. The government of the day is the real deal. If you want to get hold of them, you don't need to throw even bomb in the bushes. Go after the enablers, those that are actually funding it. They are in the government. That is where to stop them. And the American government know this, but they don't want to. Everything is not politics. So if this idea of saving Christian life is good, when you are hearing that, but is that the solution? Is that the solution? It's not. Now let's continue, because he said Muslim housing development expanding and advancing, including the Middle and Epic City. Epic City now under investigation by the state of Texas, escalating incidents of Islam intimidation and enforcement behaviors, and even unauthorized Quran distribution inside taxpayer-funded high school. Do you understand? In Texas, they are systematically penetrating the people in school that are sharing Quran, distributing it, and this Texas, congressman, representative of, I don't know what they call it, Texas representative in Congress, are actually speaking up against it. Okay, that last one should stop every parent code. That one should stop every parent code. I don't know what the man by that. SEF also urged Texans to vote for the March 3 proportions to ban Sharia. Okay, to ban Sharia warning. Now, the same thing we are talking about. Texas, a state in America, they are working hard, fighting against, pushing back against Sharia. Do you understand? Even though this is a Christian country, if people that are championing this Sharia can be bold enough to speak about Sharia in America, that have rule of law is working. People that are very, very advanced are there. Is it in Africa, in Nigeria, that people don't even know what they don't know? They don't even know anything. They don't pay attention. They don't even listen. They don't even read. They don't even research. Is it the country that you think that Sharia law will just all of a sudden go down because of the president? But in your own country, they are pushing. As Texas goes, so goes the nation. So goes the nation, and as the nation goes, so goes the world. And the movement is growing fast. 33 members of Congress and 18 seats. This is what happened when citizens refuse to surrender. We did this. You did this. Yes, Texas. So they're just celebrating about what it is. Now let's play the video. This is Texas.
Willing to confront one of the greatest threats facing our nation. Good afternoon, and thank you for being here, especially to my congressional colleagues who stand behind me, willing to confront one of the greatest threats facing our nation today. Sharia, a culture of violence and domination totally incompatible with individual freedoms, our Constitution, and our heritage. Chip Roy and I have launched the Sharia Free America Caucus because Texas is ground zero in this fight. Here's what's happening right now in the Lone Star State. There are multiple Muslim-only housing developments that already exist or are in the planning stages, including the Meadows, Epic City, right there in my district. It's currently under investigation by the state of Texas. An Islamic imam in Dallas called the police on a fellow Muslim for simply talking to a Christian pastor. An imam in the Houston area was filmed threatening to occupy stores that sold goods that are incompatible with Sharia. Just yesterday, at a taxpayer-funded high school in my district, an Islamic group set up a booth during the school day to pass out Qurans, unauthorized. They did that. These examples multiply daily. The spread has gotten so serious that on March the 3rd, a proposition to ban Sharia will appear on the Texas primary ballot. And I encourage all Texans to go to and vote for that proposition. Because as Texas goes, so goes the nation. And as the nation goes,
so goes the world.
So goes the world.
Okay.
This is not just a Texas problem. Sharia is on the march across America, from Arizona to Minnesota, Alabama, Florida, and beyond. No state is safe. As of today, our Sharia-Free America caucus consists of 33 members of Congress from 18 different states. That's over a third of the country. It also has the support of Senator Tuberville, who is here today and has been one of the leading voices against the threat of Sharia. In fact, this caucus grew out of a conversation that he and I had at the White House Christmas party. If we do not fight back, Sharia will dominate our culture, and America will no longer be America. A nation that millions have fought and died for, a nation that I served in the U.S. Army for 25 years on active duty, a nation that is the freest nation ever in the history of humankind. Look no further than France and the United Kingdom. Through unchecked immigration, they've been overrun. These once great nations are losing their heritage, their culture, and their freedoms. Sharia divides, then conquers. Under it, there's no true freedom of religion or speech, no equal rights, and women are second-class citizens. Don't take my word for it. Consider the explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group in North America, a 1991 document written by a Muslim Brotherhood leader, uncovered in a federal terrorism investigation. This is the written, formal plan to dominate and replace our culture in the United States. Take a look for yourself. My staff has passed out a one-pager with some of the key points and a link to the document itself. There are 7 pieces of legislation introduced that would ban Sharia from the United States, safeguard our immigration and legal systems from Sharia infiltration, deport foreign nationals who adhere to Sharia, and correctly list both the Muslim Brotherhood and CARE, the Council for American Islamic Relations, as foreign terrorist organizations. As John Adams said, our Constitution is made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. Today, we are witnessing the reality of Adam's wisdom in the clash of cultures as outsiders stream into our country with no idea to assimilate into our culture, our laws, or our way of life. It is time to ban Sharia, defend our country, and save Western civilization. Thank you, and I yield to my Senate colleague from the great state of Alabama, Senator Tuberville.
Now, you heard it all right. This is in America. In America, they understand what Sharia is all about, and they are kicking against it. It's not just because of the religion, but what the religion brings. The dividend of Sharia is what? Chaos. They will complain, like what somebody made this video, and where is that video? Just a moment, so you understand what we are talking about. So you understand what we are talking about. Then where is that video? Just a moment. Let me get it up. I want you to. You have listened to this before, but pay attention. It's gonna make more sense. My candidate, then you have not made up your mind to understand what is going on. You are still trying to play hanky-panky. You want to act as if it doesn't matter to you. You know, now if you comes about public, you guys don't have anything to do. You are jobless. That's why you have time to talk about it. No problem. But time will tell. If you keep quiet, it's up to you. It's your choice to keep quiet. But I hope you're not going to regret it. Now, okay, here we go. Listen. Just pay attention so you understand everything now.
Problem. Muslims living with Hindus. Problem. Muslims living with Baha'is. Problem. Muslims living with Shintos. Problem. Muslims living with Buddhists. Problem. Muslims living with Christians. Problem. Muslims living with Muslims. Very big problem.
Okay.
So this led to, they're not happy in Gaza. They're not happy in Egypt. They're not happy in Libya. They're not happy in Iran. They're not happy in Iraq. They're not happy in Yemen. They're not happy in Pakistan. They're not happy in Syria. They're not happy in Lebanon. They're not happy in Nigeria. They're not happy in Kenya. They're not happy in Sudan. They're not happy in Morocco. And they're not happy in Afghanistan. So where are they happy? They're happy in Australia. They're happy in Belgium. They're happy in France. They're happy in Holland. They're happy in Italy. They're happy in Germany. They're happy in Spain. They're happy in Sweden. They're happy in Denmark. They're happy in the USA and Canada. They're happy in Norway and India. They're very happy in England. Loads of welfare benefits. They're happy in almost every country that is not Islamic. And who do they blame? Not Islam. Not their leadership. Not themselves. They blame the countries they are happy in. And they want to change the countries they're happy in to be like the countries they came from where
they are not happy. Now, this is one of the things that I want you to grab in this video. You have to stand up and support your freedom. You have to. People will gossip around, people will tell you this and that. At the end of the day, you will live to regret it. Now, see on Texas, another person, this lady that was there, I believe you watched when she came in. This lady here, okay? Now, let's hear from her. Here, this is her handle on S. Democrat and fake news media want to ignore the truth, like always. Mass immigration from regions that reject Western values is importing dialogues like Sharia law that are fundamentally hostile to our constitution and our way of life. We will not allow America to be transformed. Now, let's hear from her.
I'm here today to address a serious issue facing our country, one that the Democrat Party and the fake news media would rather ignore. Across America, we are seeing a dangerous and deliberate effort to normalize ideologies that are hostile to our Constitution and our way of life. The result of mass migration from regions that reject Western values has brought with it growing attempts to impose Sharia law on our communities. This is an ideology fundamentally incompatible with our Constitution, individual liberty, and the principles upon which our country, America, was founded. Yet Democrats continue to push an agenda that invites these destructive worldviews to take root in our communities. That means opening our borders, disregarding our founding principles, and silencing us, the American people. We will not allow it. We will not be silent. By God's grace, the United States will remain a nation governed by a constitution, not by a foreign religious law. I am proud to join the Sharia-Free America Caucus to stand alongside my colleagues in defense of our God-given freedoms, our heritage, and the principles that have made America the greatest nation on earth.
Now, and some people from the American government want you to understand how to live together with them. Don't worry. Don't worry if you are divided, you are going to hurt Christians from other places, and you will come together so that Sharia Just let us see how we can manage Sharia that are struggling to manage in their own part. Britain will tell you, there's a strength in diversity. But just even the economy, they have diversized it. Everything about it, because I know you know about BRICS, that they are no longer part of a European Union. The same people is telling you that there's a strength in your diversity. Strength. What kind of strength is that? Strength to remain one for easy for jihad or one thing I can give to them is that they are living up to expectation, because the way they also want they want Islam to dominate other people in Nigeria, the same way they have opened their own door since they want to live by example, and they are now dealing with them very, very, very well. So this is not the end. I have something else to share with us, because we have talked about the so-called Igbo Muslim, and every day by day, things are now unfolding a little, in a little way, and the violence that come with Islam is also taking place in the minds of those called Igbo people who actually believe in Islam, who actually think that Igbos can be Islamized, they can bring Sharia law. And the annoying part is, Islam believes to those ones, they will start their statement by telling you that you are preaching falsehood against Islam. You don't know Islam. That Islam is a very peaceful religion. Honestly, I want to know that peace part of that Islam. I want to know the peace part of it, because I really want to know, genuinely I want to know, without even bantering them. I just want to know which of the verse of the Quran, and
I'm here today.
Practically, how are you bringing it? How are you making it possible? Because I don't see that one. No. I don't see it at all. Now, I want you to watch this guy, because as we are talking about foreign countries like American, Britain, Western world, talking about Islam and telling you reason why you should come together and all that dividing the country is not even an option. They have tested what these people can offer. They know it. I don't know why they are doing this. That's why sometimes our people that are traditional worshippers will always be angry about Christianity, because these people that brought Christianity are acting as if they don't know or they don't love their fellow Christians. What on earth will make these people think that everything about Islam will automatically change when it comes to us? But it's not as if they don't know what this thing means. They know. But why are they pretending about it? Now, I want us to go through a post one of the so-called Igbo Muslim made. Okay, in as much as we say that some people are, in as much as we know that people are pushing that agenda, Yorubas, we still have some elements in our land who appear to be Igbo but believe they are Muslim. They have started threatening the Igbos that Islam will dominate Igbo land. Igbos shouldn't take these brainwashed fools as a joke, because they were paid heavily to spread Islam in Southeast. Operation Stop the spreading of Islam in Southeast start now. Operation Stop the spreading of Islam in Southeast should start now. I agree 100%. Now, why Islam is going to dominate all Igbo land soon, inshallah. Now, Gezi Delta. Now, this is how they roll. The person threatening here is this guy. Okay. Wait. I don't know why the thing is not. I want to pause it. But it refused to pause. But I'm gonna take it back again. His name is Mazi Haruna Ifai Nweze. Eziokwu bụ ndụ. Onye a ga-abụnata Nsụka. Nweze. It should be from Nsụka. They don't joke with anything, Eze. Now, let's continue. Please pay attention. Then I will now respond to that.
I want to
start from beginning.
Today is 3rd of February 2026. I want to let you know something. I want to let you know something very important. You get that? Islam and Christianity. I want to come why Islam is definitely going to dominate in Igbo land very soon.
Now listen.
The reason why Islam, no matter how you try to do that, no matter how you try to attack Islam or try to Igbo Muslims, Islam is going to dominate Igbo land very, very soon. Why do I say that? Listen very carefully. You understand? You know, it's possible that you might not believe me, you might not accept my analysis and my opinion, but I pray that every one of us live to see it come to pass. First of all, the reason why Islam is going to dominate Igbo land very soon. Majority of Igbo Muslims are now attacking Islam based on propaganda and lies. You understand? You guys, the Igbo Muslims, are attacking Islam based on propaganda. Everything you guys are talking about Islam is not true. You get that? So, and no lies can last. Propaganda doesn't last. It must fail. Propaganda doesn't last. You understand? You guys are promoting your own religion, defending your own religion based on lies as well. You see that? A lot of Christians, a lot of the Igbos are defending their religion and they are not even convinced about their own religion. You understand? So definitely, it's not going to work on Islam that is based on truth. You are attacking Islam based on lies. You understand me? Everything you are talking about Islam is just what the media told you, what the enemies of Islam told you. So definitely it's not going to work on the side of Islam because Islam is rooted with truth, with pure truth, nothing text. So another way you must understand that Islam is going to dominate Igbo land. You have put on the light of Islam in Igbo land by yourself. This recent attack and threat against the Igbo Muslim has really ignited, it has put the light of Islam, it has exposed, it has brought Islam to a new light. Everyone, many Igbo people have come to know that there are Igbo Muslims. Of course, this is the pure truth. If you like, you accept it. If you don't like, that truth is life, is me. I tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. I don't tell you the truth to please you. I don't tell you the truth to entertain you or to please myself. I tell you the truth to hear it and live to see it come to pass. You see, you have used your own hand, your own resources, your own strength to promote Islam, to raise Islam in Igbo land. You understand? A lot of Igbo Muslims have existed for centuries, for decades, for many years, over 100 years. Islam has existed in Igbo land, and nobody knows. A lot of people don't know that there are real Muslims, born Muslims, a lot of them. Many people are great-grandfathers in Islam. I was debating with somebody on her platform. I told her, what of Abdulaziz Ude, that Oliver the Cook used to sing? He was a born Muslim. His father was a born Muslim. All his children are still Muslims. You understand? But you guys, you don't want to accept that, or you keep on looking sideways and forgetting those. This is an simple example of a Muslim, Alhaji Abdulaziz Ude, from Anambra State. And so many of them like that go to Oka and see a lot of Anambras who are Muslims, who are born Muslims. So, for the fact that you began to attack Islam has opened the eyes of a lot of Igbos who are seeking for the truth, who want to know the truth. There are a lot of Igbos who are seeking for the truth. They don't mind. You see, so many Igbos now are making research about Islam. So very soon they are coming out with the truth. They are going to be convinced. one thing about Islam, once you go into research about Islam, you will definitely see the truth. That is why they close the eyes, the sense, the mind, everything about the Igbos, not to even make research about Islam. You see that? They told you lies and also force you to throw you not to research about the lies they told you. Because they know what that if you go and make research, definitely you find out that they told you lies. You get that? So for you to wake up and start attacking Islam and threatening Muslims, Igbo Muslims, saying that you are not going to allow Islam in Igbo land, this has opened room for a lot of Igbos to start making research. Can you see the number of Igbos on TikTok right now? There are a lot of Igbo Muslims on TikTok right now coming out. I never knew them. I never knew that. Even me, I'm surprised. A lot of Igbo Muslims, young Muslim ladies, men, a lot of them coming out now to tell you that we are proud of being Igbo Muslims. Do you get that? So you have used your hand to promote Islam in Igbo land. So definitely very soon, Islam is going to dominate in Igbo land. And lastly, every one of you, if you like, you deny this. If you don't like, this is a fact. Undeniable fact. Fact. Beyond fact. Evidence is there that Christianity has collapsed in Igbo land. People, the Igbos are abandoning Christianity. For example, you know Catholic Church. 80s, late 80s and early 90s, you know how Catholic Church used to flow. When Catholic Church first mass, the first service in Catholic Church, you know the number of crowd. We are living in Barrera Junction, St. Mary Catholic Church. Whenever they close their first mass, no road. The number of people for over 1 hour, people will be flowing and passing. People who have the number is awesome. Now, go and watch any Catholic church around you. You will not see anybody. When they close service, just few number of people coming out from the churches. Likewise, other churches. You understand? Deeper Life, you know the number of people. When Deeper Life does their camp, you know what's happening. Now people are abandoned. A lot of Christians, a lot of people are coming out to tell you that we are no longer interested in Christianity. A lot of them, Christianity is collapsing in their own domain, in Christian-dominated areas. This is the fact. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That's definitely in a few years to come. A lot of people, if you mention Christianity, you will be like a fool. People are going to look like a fool. Then what of Islam? Is Islam collapsing in Muslim-dominated areas? No. Despite the attack, despite the lies, despite the propaganda, despite the killings, has Islam, reduced in Muslim states like Kano, Kaduna, Katsina, Bauchi, a lot of the Muslim states, is Islam, is Muslim denouncing Islam the way Christians are denouncing Christianity? Tell yourself the truth. Answer this question. No. Now, what is happening? Islam is now infiltrating, it's now growing, it's now rising in Christian-dominated areas. Now, the Igbos are afraid that Islam is dominating the Igbo land. They are now waking up to threaten, to attack, to unalive, even also because of why Igbos are taking over. A lot of Igbos are converted to Islam. Like me, I wasn't born a Muslim, but now I'm a proud Muslim coming out to tell you this. Chikakati wasn't born a Muslim. A lot of the Igbo Muslims that are coming out on social media, they wasn't born Muslims. They are converts. What does that tell you? That Islam is growing in Christian-dominated area. This is a fact. I don't care whether you believe it, I don't care whether you accept it, but this is a fact. I'm telling you. This is a fact. You must go back and sit down to think. You must go back and tell yourself the truth. Some of you call me mad, crazy, I don't know what I'm talking about. But this is a fact, I'm telling you. Islam is dominating, it's rising in Igbo land. Islam is rising in Muslim areas. Christianity is diminishing in Christian areas. This is a fact. So what does that tell you? That Islam is going to dominate in Igbo land soon. This is not by violence, this is not by any, but by the truth, because ask yourself, despite the attacks, the lies, Islam is violence, Islam terrorism, people are embracing Islam. People are accepting Islam. This is a fact. You must accept.
Somebody said I should remove this guy. No. Remove him for what? Why will I remove him? No, I don't need to remove him. Everything he's saying here is what you need to work on. Removing him is not going to solve the problem. Do you understand? It's not going to solve the problem. Everything he said here is something you need to go and work on. You don't need to cry over that. You have to work on it. Because of time, I'm going to come back on this video. You see this video, we're going to talk about it later. But I just want you to see through it and learn something from it. Because your number one enemy is this one now. You don't need to wait until this one will now germinate and start bearing children and start spreading terrorists. Then spreading terrorism, then you start talking about how to, our brothers are the one. No. Anything that you want to do now, start with this one. Because it's going to end up bringing Sharia. Now he can see his beard. He's cutting beards now, right? If he continue this way, he will drop the red cap. He's putting red cap now for you to see him as your brother. He will start using jump up, Sandra, and of course with the sheet on his head. Then before you know it, he want to bring Sharia in Abba because he's from Abba State. I thought he's from Enugu. Maybe he's from Enugu State, but living in Abia State. But I don't know if Abia people bear name Eze. I don't know. But the only people that I know that bear Eze is in Soka. Many people in Soka bear Eze. I have seen so many Eze there in Soka. So many Eze. So I have come across many of them that bear that name Eze. Now, like I said, I'm gonna come back on that before we end the video. I cannot end this particular video without talking about Ogenkere. Okay? Without talking about Ogenkere. So let me quickly, talk about it. I want to confirm something about. Please just bear with me. I want to confirm something before I continue. Because I want to know when fundraising was started.
Because any day they put history in Nigerian curriculum as an education, it becomes a legal document. The day they put history to be studied in secondary school, it becomes a legal document, studying Nigerian history. And if they go, this propaganda they are making you put a belief. Igbo did this, Igbo did this, Igbo Juku, Igbo did this. The day they make history part of Nigerian curriculum, and it becomes a legal document, and there will be legal battle. The truth of what actually happened will go to court. Because you cannot teach lie as a curriculum. That is why they remove history from secondary school. Because why? They cannot make it a legal document. Once you make this lie they're telling you, Igbo coup, Igbo killed this, Igbo did this, Igbo did this, Igbo did this. This is what Biafra. They can't tell the true story of the Biafra war. The day they make it a curriculum, do you know what's going to happen? People go to court. So they have to remove it from educational system and now allow the lie in media level and the propaganda to shrink. That one is better for their politics against Igbo. Now let me tell you what happened. As soon as Tafawa Balewa took over as Prime Minister of Nigeria in 19, even though they didn't win the election, then Zik scored 2.4 million votes. MPC scored 1.9 million votes. Yet Zik was not the head of the Prime Minister.
This is what I want you to know from this guy, because you need to understand that the issue of Igbo Muslim is an attack, direct attack. And this is the reason why I told us that people behind this are Westerners. They want Igbo to face what Kwara State is facing. They don't feel comfortable. They are not happy that today, as we speak, the main conversation going on in Southwest, what they're battling now is Sharia law. They have started talking about it in their state. They want to expand it. They're going to bring it to Igbo land. To stop it is not about waiting for National Assembly to approve or disapprove. You see those elements in Igbo land now. You need to start ask them questions. Those who know what I'm talking about. Because if you allow it to come, let me ask you, to buy 100, did I say 100? To buy 5,000 people, okay, in space of 1 month, and to buy, let's say, 30 people or 40 people, which of them is more, which of them do you think is more better? They are all bad. I'm not promoting killing of anybody. I don't promote killing of anybody. I'm just using that to illustrate, for just kind of illustration, just to let you understand or feel what I'm talking about. The idea of Igbo Muslim, I'm not against Islam, but what Islam is going to bring is what I'm against, and that is Sharia. You cannot take it away. One of the Islamic scholar made it clear that he said, don't mention that if you talk about Muslim, you talk about Sharia. When you talk about Muslim, you talk about Sharia. And some of us think that Sharia is about, maybe when you steal something, they buy. No, there are so many other things that come with it. So many other things. This Ofege talking now cannot lead prayer in any mosque in the north. Cannot. Do you know what that means? You are still not Muslim enough. That's exactly what it means. You are not Muslim enough. And fundraising is about to start. And I have to end it here now. Please, all of you that are watching now, please join us in our fundraising. We are going to start any moment from now. Okay? We are going to join as soon as possible. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Then, okay, people, let me tell you, I saw your post. I've seen your post. You guys are talking about your how Ogenkere is bringing you this and bringing you that. Let me just a moment. Just a moment. I want you to make sure that you keep your promise. If you don't show us in few days to come, that is that you are gonna achieve. It's not gonna be funny. It won't be funny. So please, anybody that know these people, Ogenkere people, tell them. You see your post here. I wanted to deliberate on it, but the time is not on our side. So we are gonna come back on it. See this word post here. You see this post? You better prepare for that, yo. Ogenkere, for the first time, Ogenkere have managed to stand up in a podium to talk about what I don't know. He said, Biafran's big news is coming. A man of good news is here. His Excellency Ogechukwu. Now, no problem. We are going to revisit this, and I hope that you guys will do the needful and bring it. Otherwise, we are going to remind you this post. Believe you me, I'm going to remind you this particular post. Thank you, my people. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. See you again. Bye-bye for now. Take care. And join us as we are going to restart the program separately without wasting much time. Join us.